is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse, hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and there is no need for a joke today. This is part 2 of our episode with Anthony Meloro from Mystic Punks, talking about the upcoming Mystic Punks Kickstarter, which, if you're listening to this episode, the launch of that Kickstarter is going to be a mere day or two away. Or if you're in the future, it may have happened already, and you should definitely check it out over Exalted Funeral. Anyway, this is part 2 of the Mystic Punks episode. I'm telling you, folks, this is going to be a must-back. So without further ado, we're back with Anthony Meloro.
Do you find that trash is underrepresented in role-playing games generally?
I think maybe to a certain extent. I mean, it absolutely informs the way that I write. But as far as like, yeah, I would say, and Stu, I have to carry the trash banner now. Like I have to like Trash Kids Unite. It's yeah, it would yeah, I don't know, like, and this may show a little bit of my ignorance on it. Like, yeah, I don't know that there are a lot of RPGs that really hone in on that. I mean, 3, 2, 1 action for sure. Yeah. Me? Has that flavor going in, but yeah, it's yeah, I guess there isn't like, oh, I guess Hambone, just you and me. Is it just you and me?
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's it. Lead the charge.
So yeah, so I mean, like, speaking of that kind of stuff and like, you know, the kind of counterculture, subcultureness of everything, a lot of weed, a lot of the devil's lettuce in the Mystic Punks.
Yeah, it's the way that you heal up, baby. That's how you can it's
I wish that worked in real life.
Yeah. It doesn't? No.
I got beat up by a Minotaur. Better pop an edible.
Yeah. I wanted to make something tongue-in-cheek and like a minorly subversive, but also just like let's have fun with it as well too. But there's also something that, I mean, one thing we didn't touch on is like the love of those 80s and 90s beat 'em up video games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where you'll find like, oh, I don't know, you're taking on a whole crew of miscreants and like, oh, there's a chicken hanging out there. I better go eat that and it's gonna give me all my health back. So that's sort of the same way of like the Cal Fruep weed that's in Mystic Punks. And like I will have players ask me something like, can I smoke this in combat? I'm like, you better. Like you better smoke it in combat. And yeah, so it's and we've also, so there's gonna be a lot more strains being introduced in the core rulebook as well too. I'll give you a little bit of one. This goes to Jay, Dank Skittles.
Dank Skittles. Wow.
It's gonna be fun. So yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the speaking of beat 'em up video games? It's not really a beat 'em up, but I thought immediately of this in the context of our conversation. Monster Party?
Oh, for NES.
Yeah. So you play a little kid,
yeah,
who's coming home from his like little league game. So he's got a baseball bat and this alien dragon brings him to Monster World and they fuse together and he's running around Monster World with his baseball bat. And then periodically he finds pills, like classic two-tone pills. And he takes one and he turns into a fire-breathing dragon.
I would say proto Mystic Punks for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Like there it is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's called Monster Party too, is the thing that is just like, hey, everybody's partying, man.
It's like I do remember that. In fact, David Hoskins, I remember sharing that with me. He's like, this is remind me of Monster Party. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, Monster Party. It's like it's all coming together now.
So if you're using it to heal, if you like, you take one hit for yourself to heal, and is it like puff puff pass for the whole party to kind of like Is that the bring everyone back up, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can so with the MP campaign that I'm running now,
Right.
yeah, let's really dig deep, guys. Okay, let's go logistics of this. It's there is a one of the players is playing a badass sort of warrior nun, not mystic. Like she is like, so it's a normie punk, as we say. So it's like you
Right.
could play like a non mystic, and she was like, my Vig HP is real low. Can I have some of those dank nugs? And the one of the other an alien space trucker cat that goes by the name of Garfield 2 is like, absolutely. Like, and it gave the joint, and they're like, wait, Dark Guide, how does this work? And it's like, yeah, it we will. I'm pretty loose when it comes to this. It's like, if
You don't say.
yeah, I'm pretty that so the nun, Sister Nancy, was like, she's like, I was like, so what do you do with it? She's like, I smoke the whole thing. It's like, perfect. You're up. He's like, and then in another instance, it was like, well, can I just give a puff and pass it? And it's like, yeah, you both are healed. It's fine. The thing about it is though, is that regardless if you bogart the whole thing or if you just take a puff here or there, it does build it will affect you mod wise, so it'll be like plus or minuses on your checks and rolls, which can have some negative effects on fighting rolls, but positive effects on talking on your converse roll. So you do get that a little bit of that gift of gab as you get a little bit higher, at least in your own mind. You think you do. So
Oh God, I love it. I love it so much.
so they're pretty stoned right now. Actually, well, they reset it, but like they were getting pretty blitzed. And they're like, we're never gonna beat the mind splicer. I'm like, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Keep smoking.
So the actual book, I'm very excited for this, and I know other people are definitely excited about this as well, because it really is going to be a kind of coming together and congealing of like what 8 years worth of leading up to this, and
Sure.
and
Yeah.
getting it to a point where now you're ready to unveil it to the world. Exalted Funeral is the publisher behind it, and
Mhm.
if you've listened to the show at all, Exalted Funeral is where you go to get all your sweet ass RPGs. And you know what, they've had nothing but hits. They've been responsible for putting out some of the best work, I would dare say, in the last 10 years worth of RPGs easy. And then that is just allowing creators like you and Jay, Dark Guy Jay, which again, I want to say how great of a name that is, to kind of spread your wings and fly. Like, talk to our listeners a little bit about like the experience of kind of compiling 8 years worth of work, and then adding a newness to it and adding a freshness to it for a whole new audience, including those who, like Stu, bought it before it went aftermarket.
I mean, I have to go back to just saying that it's always such a great labor of love. And when you have so much lore and world building, you're just constantly feeling like, okay, what are some new avenues that I can take in terms of creating and having more avenues? And of course, you're going to go over some of the same material again. But yeah, I just feel like I'm like, from taking all of that, the the prior stuff and where it's going into with the new right now, I feel like we are distilling it though to a certain extent, where it's like, yes, we're building off of the quick start rules, the flavor and the radness from all the solo RPG zines and collected edition are absolutely there. But now we're really sort of dialing down though more on what you're doing with your magic, what you're able to do within more of that tabletop dynamic, what you can do with more just tables in general for just creating your own campaign, and loot tables and more monster tables. We have a bestiary in there of 45.
Fantastic.
Love a
Which is,
monster book.
yeah, it's awesome to create those too. we're also going to have, just if I could throw this in there as an early backer reward, we're going to have some limited edition trading cards as well too.
Oh, snap.
Uh, yeah, so it's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, it's taking all of that stuff from what we built upon and then trying to hone it down or like edge it down to be like, okay, how can we really just really focus in about making this like the most fun experience just for everyone. And I'm confident in saying like, yeah, I think we've really done it. And again, Jay's game playing acumen is just like, it's amazing. So he's added so much more to the way that party can run this game that it just you could easily have like a campaign going on for years just by using the book itself.
And I love that. I love that a lot of creators are moving in that direction now, where it's like, hey, you're going to spend like $50, but you're going to get the Dark Guides handbook, you're going to get the player's handbook essentially, and you're going to get a bestiary, and then whatever else you could fit in all those pages in one book. And for me, and I speak solely for myself, I think it's such a pleasurable way to read a book like that, and to only have to run reference off of one book. And, it also is going to look cool on your coffee table, too. Just pop it out there,
Yeah.
just skim through it with your morning coffee in your little book nook.
Yeah,
I wish I had a
It's too
book nook.
cozy for Mystic Bugs, man. Come on.
I don't know, man.
Got to be in your sewer lair or something. Your
Oh yeah.
your greaser garage / head shop squat.
I say why not both? I say why
Why not both?
Do it in both. Yeah, and
Wizard
yeah,
bong in your garden,
yeah, right.
hanging out with your gnome buddy, just chilling, reading the book.
Perfect. Yeah, and to speak to that, Hambo, yeah, absolutely. It's like we want this to be a resource that you can go to and be like, oh, awesome. Just more stuff to go through. But yeah, because of the art and the layout and all of that, it's enjoyable to just look at and appreciate that on its own as well, too.
Well, I think that's a very modern sensibility for a lot of tabletop RPGs, where if you would look at people who were doing small press stuff previous to now, people who were going and, I would say of a generation before ours, which knew a very specific way to do it, the books would be more textbooks with minimal art in them. And it would be a true reference book, more so than it would be like an enjoyable reading experience. Whereas like I think people, as as they have gotten older, as we've gotten older, we realize we all got to specialize. And like, being able to read the fucking print on a page is a lot better and like more of a fun experience, being able to like be like, all right, that picture's cool too.
Gotta have
No,
good art, man.
I mean, perfect thing. I know the readers can't see this, but I just got this in from the
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'm holding up, listeners, the Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader original reprint, and like my first thought like going through this is like, I've never played Warhammer, but
Right.
I know of the lore and like whatever, but I would just look through this and my first thought was like, I can't fucking play this.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is insanity. But then I got to like these like gnarly pictures of like and listeners, I'm sorry, it's like these, just imagine the most dark metal covers from the 80s, and I was like, oh yeah, that's where it's at, right?
There's so much art stuff to that book. It's like falling out of it.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, but absolutely, like it would be like playing it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot more work to read and run, whereas something like this, it really is a grab and go book. And I think that's and I say this from a person who's read the other stuff that you've written previously. Like, I know if there is even like a fraction of the love and passion that you put into any of those things in this book, it is going to be unstoppable, unfucking believable, and I'm excited for it. So let's talk about the book a little bit, though, because dear listener, if you're listening to this part of the episode, you realize that we were having a great conversation. We decided to bust this up into two, not because we're lazy about recording, but because we're
come
actually having
on,
a
it is
very
because
good
we're lazy
time.
about recording. Don't
Oh,
lie to
now-
the
now-
listeners.
I've heard it both ways.
Now there is a tear running down my eye. Thank you.
But this is this is going to be real cool, man, and it's coming out. We're launching it on you're launching it on Kickstarter on March 20th, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about Mystic Punk's tabletop role-playing game, the Kickstarter.
Yes. So launching from Exalted Funeral on Kickstarter on 3/20. And we're giving it to you, gang. It's going to be of course tons of different tiers to choose from. But the Kickstarter itself, if you really want to get on that ground level, we have the tier called Core Me Hard. And it's going to be
That's something. All right.
yeah. And it's going to have that core rule book, and hopefully if we make those stretch goals, all the digital and physical stretch goals. If you want to up your game a bit, you could do the Screen Machine tier, which is going to be the core rule book, but you also get an amazing game master screen from the Sick artist Paul Eduardo. He who also did artwork inside the book as well too. And then if you, I think as I describe it, it's like if you want to go to that buffet and just get gnarly with it, do the pit master. That's what you really want. And that's going to have the core rule book, the Dark Guide Game Master screen, an adventure, a book, hardcover book, 3 adventures of also one Mr. Hambone's adventure will be in that as well too. Let me tell you, that's a gnarly adventure too. So a reprint of the out of print adventure Dark Heart of Zarnx that I did for Exalted Funeral about 3 years ago for the one 2 years ago, I'm sorry, for the Hot Dye Summer. And also a patch as well too. So it's a lot, but it's all good.
You know what? The one thing I'm surprised that I haven't heard though from you, no Mystic Punk's rolling paper.
Oh yeah, that's sort of been a thing. Yeah.
We've been talking. That's like right over the plate.
It's like my neuroses though is like, oh God, what if there's an ink on it and it gets somebody?
You can't do that. Yeah,
like, well, for the trading cards that I mentioned earlier, it's
you're
like,
not putting gum in there, right?
I wanted to put gum in there, and they said, and then, but it's like, due to FDA, you can't. Blah blah blah. I was like, okay, fine. So acid it is. No, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you are an adult, right? You've been to the dentist, right?
Yeah.
How much did that hurt opening your wallet every time?
Yeah, right.
That's why you don't eat the gum out of trading cards, adults.
Yeah. Oh,
should do it either, kids.
Soft disagree. I don't even know if they do it anymore, to be honest. But
my friend Anthony is telling you he's a daredevil.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, tell us about some of the other writers that are going to be doing the adventures, because this is pretty cool. And I'll tell you all, dear listener, like I got approached for this as well as a bunch of our other friends.
By a man in black? Did they brace you in an alleyway?
So it was the one time I left my house. It was actually go to the doctor. It was an underground parking garage. It was going to be a very awkward doctor visit. It was made even more awkward by Anthony stepping out of the shadows wearing a fedora and a brown duster. I don't know if he was wearing anything under the duster, but he offered me like a small suitcase of money. And when I say it was a small, it was like a child-sized lunchbox with singles in it. And
loose change rattling around.
Yeah, loose change rattling around. There may or may or not have been like a set of Jurassic Park trading cards with the gum still intact. But a bunch of us got approached to write adventures for Mystic Punks, and I was chomping at the bit to do it. I wrote an adventure called The Ballad of Dirt Stash Wizard.
Yes.
It's off the fucking chain weird.
Right. Yeah. Yes. When I read over it, I was just like, I just think I was constantly like in this room being like, yes. Like he gets it. Yes. And totally hits all the beats, hits all the notes. It's like, it's on point. We also have Levi Combs Planet X Game. He's writing one. Has already written one. Steve Alberson of Epic Levels. He's on there as well too. Steve's adventure is a journey into like Nine Inch Nails hell, which is it's
Amazing.
I play tested it recently, and like I could just was like the funny thing is that I was playing with Nathan Turstig, again, Mystic Punks artist, and like he was just getting like all the references like way too much. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna tell me there's a Ministry reference?" And I was like, "God damn it, just yes, there's a Ministry reference in this as well too." No, Steve's adventure is awesome. I apologize if I mispronounce. Giogo Nogueira's is as well. He has an adventure in there. Joel Hines, Joey Royale from Get Haunted Industries. His adventure is Joey's is really great because it goes to a place that I have yet to really I haven't written about it. It's sort of Jersey Shore meets HP Lovecraft a little bit.
That feels so right. Yeah.
Yeah.
After hanging out with him last week, that's right on the money.
Yeah, so it's yeah, and I'll just say this, if I can get half the swagger that gentleman has, when I saw like his last profile pic or
so aggravated by his head of hair, man. Like just it's just so good.
It's even more majestic in person.
I don't think I could stand to be in his presence. The envy would just eat me alive. I'd just fall down dead.
It's funny because I was at TotalCon and he and I were sharing a table with Neon Lord Brian Shutter, and we just hung out for like a whole weekend. And Joey's son was there, who is just an amazing kid, and had a hat on the whole time. But I know he's just doing it because between me and Joey, there was too much great hair going on, and he would have been just the cosmic balance would have shifted. It would have been terrible. But like Joey, he's just cool, man. I said earlier, like no one is cool. A little asterisk, Joey Royale is cool. And Sunday morning, we're meeting up for breakfast. Me and Sally are in the lobby. We're waiting for Brian. The other dudes are hanging out with us. And we're like, I wonder where Joey is. And the door like pops open. And here's Joey in a fucking tracksuit, gold chains, hair up, friggin' mustache and glasses. And there's a bunch of our friends were hanging out, walking behind him. I was like, holy shit. He shows up in a full tracksuit on Sunday morning with an entourage. That's Joey Royale.
Beautiful.
You're speechless.
Yeah, it's just I don't have it. I don't. But yeah, I don't want it. I want him to have. I want him to have all of it. Like, give it to him.
Too much power,
Yeah. Yes, but absolutely, Hambone. Your hair is. I don't want to take away. Like, your hair is amazing.
I'm used to Hambone's hair. Like I've known that hair for years. I've
Yeah. Joey's something
made my
special
peace
though.
with that. Joey's hair is new.
I want to go back and talk about this. How did I meet you? I'm writing a new adventure. I was naked under with a lunch box, and I came up and I love driving the Jersey Turnpike, by the way. So let's there I go.
Yeah, all the rest stops are named after famous people now. That's the Parkway. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. I was recently up. I celebrated the Lunar New Year in New York City.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The fam went up there, and it was yeah. I know the Molly Pitcher. I know what's going on up there.
Yeah, you know what it's like on our side of the river. I get you.
Yeah,
I got you laying down.
I get you. I mean, yeah. I like Bayonne.
the island of Bayonne.
The island. Yeah. But no, it was yeah, it's always a pleasure going up there. Yeah, my wife's family is up in New York and Connecticut, so we're up there a lot.
The next time you head up this way, you need to make a little sidetrack over the swamps in New Jersey. We'll show you around. You know what I'll do? I'll take you to Joey Ramone's grave, and then out for disco fries.
Two towns
please.
over.
Please do. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, hon, I got to go hang out with Hambone. Who? Yeah, just let me do this.
And if you got the kids with you for bonus points, we're right around the corner from Medieval Times.
Oh my God, they would love that. Oh.
Literally, Joey Ramone's grave is up the hill from Medieval Times.
Yeah,
it's like over.
That's fitting.
It is. You have no idea the magic that we have in our little pocket in New Jersey here.
Oh, I love it. Oh, yes. Let's make this happen. Let's do it. I'm coming up in the summer. That's it. I'm coming up in the summer.
Cool. All right. So we're going to go home on this episode now, this double size, not lazy recording at all episode of the Vintage RPG podcast. Stu, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me on Instagram. They know where. Come on. It's been years. If you don't know yet, you're never going to know. You don't care. You don't care about me if you don't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Anthony doesn't know. That's the look of a man who doesn't know.
Oh,
I'm on Instagram at Vintage RPG, Anthony.
Yeah, I absolutely. I was taken aback by that a little bit.
You can find me across the internet at John McGuire RPG. I'm posting more on Instagram these days because I'm going out, I'm going places, I'm doing things. By the time this episode drops, I will be at GaryCon. So if you're in GaryCon, come look for your old buddy HB. I'll be on the con floor. I'm doing 4 panels on writing, which I will be announcing on Instagram, which I'm posting on more because I'm leaving the house. Also, if you hear this episode and you have not yet, go to Kickstarter, Run Don't Walk, back Mystic Punk's tabletop role-playing game. We talk a lot about games on the show with a lot of cool creators, and this is going to be one of the must-buys for 2024. So Mystic Punk's tabletop role-playing game. When you hear the first half of this episode, save it and follow it on Kickstarter. When you hear the second half of this episode, please back it up. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. And if you really like the show, want to become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerpg. We got a behind-the-scenes look at whatever Stu's working on. We got a behind-the-scenes look at the stuff that I'm working on for 321 Action, which is getting weird. We have early release episodes for as little as $1 a month. They'll drop at some point on Friday, depending on when we record them in the week. We have a tier where you can play RPGs with me. We've got a tier where you can play West Marches with Stu. And we've got a killer Discord community that we'd love for you all to be a part of. Patreon.com/vintagerpg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Every review helps other listeners to find us. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dega West. Art by Schaefer Brown. If you like the podcast, you should also consider becoming a patron at patreon.com.